Hello and welcome to the channel. Now, we finally have a price for the 2023 Honda Civic Type R. Now, will this be the last one of its kind? Because if you do the math, I think we may have either one more mid refresh, and then usually it's every 5 years. Every 5 years is when they do the whole, like a complete overhaul of the segment. So right now it is 2022, and then we're getting the 2023 model. So in 3 years, that puts us at about 2025. We're either going to get a minor facelift of the Type R, or they might just sell us the same one. And then in 2027, that would mark 5 years. But at that time, I think the transition to start removing ICE vehicle, or just like we will slowly just having only hybrids that are available. Hybrid vehicles are going to be more available, or Honda's going to start selling more hybrid vehicles instead of ICE vehicles by 2026. And then by 2030, that's when the push really begins to that full EV, because by 2035, we're going to be not selling ICE vehicle at all. But maybe I think Honda has one more iteration of the Type R, but that's just my guess. Maybe one more before the transition, to fully electric car or hybrid model is the only cars that they're going to be pushing. But anyway, we have the 2023, we have the price. We're going to discuss it. We're going to break it down. And what are you going to be expecting to pay? Certain dealerships are going to be, customer friendly, because they want to retain those, loyal customers to keep coming back, to keep buying cars from them. But most of them are just in it for the profit. They're worried about the now, but they're not worried about the future. Now, if the future tells us one thing that Honda is doing with their electric vehicle, especially partnering up with Sony, if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you see it, is the fact that they're going to be selling directly to consumers, and the dealerships are not happy about it. But they can go fucking kick rocks, because I am all in on that kind of thinking, especially Ford, and I think Ford as well is trying to sell directly to consumers. I'm not sure if GM is going to try to pull the same thing, but I am pretty sure that Ford is going to be selling directly to consumers. That's their end game. That's what they want to do, sell directly to consumers. But that doesn't mean that they can do what Tesla does, just give you like mild increase slowly at a time. But anyway, enough of me. I feel like I start one area, and then I start talking, and then I pivot to a different. Yeah, so let's stay on the price of the Type R. I got ahead of myself here. But let's talk about the price. We're gonna talk about we're gonna try to see if I can break it down to the best of my ability. I have my numbers here with me. So let's go ahead and check it out and do this. All right, so this is the 2023 Type R. The price of the vehicle is going to be $43,990, and that is just the MSRP bare bones model. Now, if you've seen, coming from the original Type R, the one that initially kicked it off in 2017, it came in at $34,775. That's the original price of the 2017 Type R. Now, that's not including I think inflation is either at 8.5 or 9 point something. I think it's 8.5 last time I checked, but I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But yeah, so that's not including inflation, because in 2017 we were pre-pandemic. That's before everything turned into shit. Even before then, dealerships were still asking ridiculous amount of money for the Type R, because they can get away with it, because it's a limited edition. That's the whole thing that they were trying to sell you on, that it was a limited edition. But for me, I didn't believe it was limited, because they sold it for how many years? 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And then 22, obviously, but 22 is a whole new model. So they're going to sell it for about 6 years now, and they sold it for 5 years. So it's not really a limited edition, but there's limited amount that they make, because it's a specialty car. So anyway, I've done some of the calculations. So $34,775 was the original price. Now, if we subtract $43,990, we're getting about $9,000 increase from the original one 5 years ago. Now, the Type R keeps its value so good, especially even if you have like some miles on your Type R, you're going to be getting somewhere along the lines in the 30s for your Type R. If not, the lower the mileage, obviously, the more money you're going to get because the car keeps its damn value. But it's not worth the asking price that these dealerships are going to be asking for it. And believe you me, they're going to be asking a premium for this fucking car. But you have options. You have options. So, I did a little bit of my calculations here. That's according to where I'm living. So my calculation is, so the MSRP is $43,990 times 8.75 in sales tax, or 0.0875, comes up to $3,849 for taxes. Oh, so that equals to $47,839, right? So this is where we're at, $47,839. That's your taxes. And then I just roughly calculated the DMV fees. I don't know exactly what the fees are going to be specifically. I just put up a number. I put up about $875. It may be more, it may be less. So with $875 on top of that, we're looking at $48,714, right? And the fact that interest rate has been increased steadily from the Federal Reserve has been increasing the interest rate. You don't know exactly what, I don't even know what the average is. It's probably like 3.9 or 4 something. It's the average for a new car depending on your credit. The higher your credit, obviously the better interest rate that you're going to be getting. So, and then I put down gap insurance, which I was being a little generous. I was being very, very generous when it came to gap insurance. I put in $1,500, but it could be up to $3,000 or more. $2,500, $1,500 and up. It could be $3,000, $4,000. I don't know. I was being a little generous. You know what? I was being just a tad bit generous. So, adding your taxes, your DMV fees, as well as your generous gap insurance, you're looking at $50,000. 50 G's. Now, hypothetically speaking, dealerships add another $10,000 on top. You're looking at $60,000 for the car. I don't think it's worth $60,000. But some dealerships are so fucking greedy as fuck. They want $20,000 on top. Like this dealerships here. $44,000. Our local dealer joyfully reached out and touted that their markup would be only $20,000. Oh my god. Now the problem with that is, unfortunately, there's people that have money, there's people that have means and can afford these egregious prices. Now, that affects regular consumers that can't really afford that kind of markup on a vehicle. Like me, I can't afford that shit. 50 G's, you're already pushing it. You know what I'm saying? You are already pushing that envelope. You're pushing it. You're pushing it. 20 G's. No fucking way. No way. But, that's expected. I even called up one of my local dealerships. Maybe I will call up a little bit more dealerships, later on today as the sunrise, because I'm making this video very early in the morning, as you can see from the timestamp on the bottom, or you can't see it actually. That the dealerships are going to be asking $15,000 to $20,000 easily for this vehicle. Now, there's some dealerships that will sell this vehicle in not so crazy price, but they're going to be sold out pretty quickly, especially those dealerships. The more people find out about those said dealerships, the more people are going to get in line waiting for it. And unfortunately, you might wait a really long time to get it. But if you can get it at MSRP, sometimes I think it is worth the wait. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in purchasing one of these Type Rs. If so, do you have a dealerships in mind? Because the ones in my area, they're gonna be charging an arm and a leg. And also, people in Canada, you guys have it a little bit better because obviously your system, the way that it's set up, it's completely different than United States. Capitalism is at its finest here in the United States, and dealerships can charge whatever fictional number that they want because there is some sucker that's gonna pay for it. I mean, it could be worse. My next video. We're talking about Nissan Z markup, Nissan Proto markup. It's going to blow your fucking mind. With that kind of pricing, I think I will take the Type R for 70 grand instead of the Proto, which they're just asking an egregious amount. And the dealership actually has a very bad take. And there are some dealerships that will sell certain cars for MSRP, but these specialty cars, they will not sell the cars for the MSRP. Like this one dealerships, you don't have to pay over MSRP, unlike some of our local competitors. We do not believe in opportunistic pricing. We want your business for life. One price, simple, excludes Civic Type R. Just like this one this one Toyota dealerships that I found online also, that like they will sell everything on MSRP except for the GR Supra. At the time, I guess the Supra was hot. Of course, I give them much credit. At least I got my Civic and Passport at MSRP. But everything else, I'm sure you have to pay for. Yep, it'll be a while before we can actually see CTRs and GR rollers here up north. The allocation system is completely random. There's no incentive for Japanese-built cars to even end up here. Considering there's something like 500 CTRs allocated for Canada, and it's likely the majority of those will end up being sold to dealers' friends, then resold back to them as used to get around the new MSRP law. The rest will be museum pieces for sculpting, like low mileage S2000s. That is true. That's kind of the benefit of buying here if you can find some, especially since United States is one of those bigger markets. So, you know, Honda is more incentivized to give us more allocation for the Type R because, you know, we'll buy it. We're fucking dumbasses. We'll just spend all these crazy prices because once somebody buys it, then they just can move that envelope. Same thing that happens in the gaming industry. Once they get away with loot boxes and microtransaction, they want to push the envelope and just make it worse and worse and worse and more egregious. So same thing with the dealerships. Once they get away with 10,000, or once they get away with, you know what? It starts small. It starts small. They start off at $2,000 and then 5,000 and then 7,500 and then 10,000, 12,500, 15,000, you know, then it's 20,000. They're just slowly turning up that heat. Like, it's kind of like reminds me of this saying, you know, you put a crab in the water and then you just slowly crank up the water. And eventually he doesn't know that it's getting boiled alive because you're just slowly cranking up the heat. But if you had just dropped him in a boiling hot water, it would feel some sort of way. But if you slowly just crank it up, it wouldn't know. I don't know if it's crab or if it's frog or one of those animals. Like, you just put it in a warm water and then slowly crank up the heat. That's what we are. That's what the dealerships are doing with us. They're slowly just cranking it up. And now that they got to the point where we are already fucking used to the fucking thing, so now they can just crank that bitch all the way. And some of us will just sit there and take it. But I know you people that follow me are not going to be sheeps. You're either going to wait or you're going to shop around. That's what I suggest you do. Or just, you know, and don't give them your business. If they treat you like shit, do not give them your business. If they ask for markup, don't fucking give them future business. That's how you get them. You get them in the long run because they have to sell fucking cars. That's why I love this partnership with Sony. The fact that they can sell directly to consumers. I love it. The dealerships fucking hate it, but I love it. Anything they hate, I love. Everything they love, I hate. All right? This is somewhat unbiased. I hope you enjoyed the content. I'm sorry it ran a little bit longer than it should have, but make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you in the Nissan video.